baby boo's out that milk got us now, Scott. Yeah, what truck we're reacting to?
I don't like the fact that my body's right next to his face.
Touch him.
No.
Touch him.
I'm not touching him.
Humiliated Johnny Smalley in court after it was extremely obvious he just kept lying in court and thus committed perjury. And this is just an insane update revolving the whole Johnny Smalley criminal trial. But this court hearing that we're talking about today is actually a completely separate trial than the main one that we've been covering for roughly a year now.
Yeah.
All right, so we now are about to walk into the Johnny Smalley.
Aww. So, Atozi went all the way back there again to check out his next court date.
He's writing it off on his taxes. He gets a free trip and he gets to write it off on his taxes. That's what pisses me off.
That'd be awesome.
Case. Most people don't know about this, but we were lucky enough to get the information from one of the other Korean streamers who essentially was indicted, and now
So
a
how
bunch
many
of them
more
have to
years
testify,
has he got in
including
prison?
Johnny Smalley.
We'll
So
find out.
this will be interesting to see what happens. Up until now, nobody knew about this new trial except for the internal circle of the Korean streamers involved. And this is because Johnny pressed charges on another Korean streamer. And the reason Johnny did so was because Johnny showed the deepfake first, and then Youngman found out there was a deepfake of him making out with Hank, Johnny's friend. And obviously he was very upset about it, so he then showed the clip on his stream while he was venting about how he felt like this was disgusting, that this was done without his permission. But that turned out to be a massive mistake for Youngman to do so. And Youngman, he has a good lawyer and a good strategy. But he's currently in prison, and he's coming as a defendant because Johnny found...
Because the Yumon, the guy that did the deep on, when Korea was going through their weird martial law, he thought it'd be a good idea to throw a cinder block through a courtroom window.
Oh.
And he's in prison right now.
So
So basically, Johnny had a little bit of leverage on Yumon to get them to drop that one.
On this charge against Youngman to essentially lower his own sentence because he wants Youngman to drop the charge against him. The goal here is to essentially get some sort of legal settlement. What he's missing though is South Korea really wants you to apologize formally. And Youngman has formally
So a deep flake that Johnny did was of this Yumon guy?
Yeah, I'm not... He probably made it, but basically him making out with Hank. Yumon making out with Johnny's boyfriend, wife, whatever.
What, really? No, wait,
You didn't hear that part?
I thought Yumon made a deep fake of Johnny making out with Hank.
No. Supposedly Johnny made a deep fake of Hank making out with Yumon.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so they're using the fact that Yumon is in jail or whatever right now because of the thing that he did as leverage to try to close that?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I understand.
apologize to the courts 5 different times by handwritten letters from jail. And Johnny so far hasn't apologized a single time. And the worst part is, Johnny has pleaded not guilty for doing the exact same thing that he's pressing charges against Youngman for doing. Because remember, his whole defense in the last court date I covered was, I didn't make them. I may have just distributed them. We know for a fact that Youngman did not make these. All he did was show it on his stream. So he just distributed them. He didn't make them. So make it make sense. This is just extremely hypocritical. And I really don't think that's going to help his...
No, I think, no, I don't think that's it. I think there's a different deep fake that Yumon...
No, there's another deepfake Johnny made of another streamer called Bonbon.
That Yumon was fighting against?
No.
No, I'm confused. That doesn't sound right. I feel like it's... Johnny is going after Yumon because the way he sound... No. The way Tozy's saying it, sounds like he's saying that Yumon, quote-unquote, made a deep fake of Johnny and Hank making out. But he did not make that. He just showed it on a stream. That's what I'm hearing.
No. Yumon found about the deep fake of him and Hank together, and he showed it on a stream, and Johnny kind of pressed charges. He used Hank to press charges against him.
That doesn't sound right.
Current criminal trial. But once we arrived at court, we found out that Johnny is pressing charges against Youngman for a whole plethora of things, not just the deepfakes. So obviously, deepfakes, we expected that, but the new ones were stalking, which is okay,
fun.
and assaulting him with a baton.
So this one started with the deep fake.
Apparently Yumon's when they got it beat up Johnny.
Oh, okay.
And then added stalking in August.
Who's the first witness?
Hank's the first witness. So Hank is the first witness.
Hank's the first one. Hank, you, Ramsey Khalid Ismail, and Bang TV.
Okay,
We're gonna hear
those
from
three guys.
그러면 종찬이는
Very interesting.
So Hank's supposed to be the testifier, and Youngman is standing on the
On the stand.
on the stand.
These are more serious charges against Youngman.
Yeah.
Second, third, fourth offense. Of course, he documented everything. He streamed, live streamed
Yeah.
everything.
Tozy is
It's still
reaching
there for you to go and see.
Kendrick Lamar levels of petty hating.
Yeah.
It is
Crazy.
awesome.
Which is extremely rich coming from Johnny, because he was the one who showed the deepfakes first. While bragging about it, he was the one who live streamed himself stalking the female streamer Nanati.
I told my friend about Johnny. Yeah, he first. He said,
And of course,
he's
Tweedledee and
American.
Tweedledum here were the ones who brought the baton to the fight.
As an American, I do not claim him.
Can we send him to Hamas? Have him street. He's got to get out of Gaza. That's it. That would be the way. He's got to make it through North Korea, and then he's got to make it through Gaza, and then he'll be fine.
Meh.
And of course, Tweedledee and Tweedledum here were the ones who brought the baton to the fight.
That's a baton. Youngman picked my baton up and chasing me.
So, on October 22nd, the people who testified were Hank Yu, which is, Johnny's only friend here in Korea, Johnny Somali, or Ramsey Ismail,
This is why countries don't like Americans.
and Bang TV. Quick
why
war
other
dump.
countries don't like
Bang
Americans.
TV is a
Yeah.
Korean IRL streamer who is one of 4 people involved with trying to stop Johnny from harassing the citizens of South Korea for content. This South Korean streamer clique consisted of Dagun, who infamously punched Johnny, Youngman, who is the man involved in the trial right now, but also is currently in prison for throwing cinder blocks through the courthouse windows while Seoul was under martial law on December 3rd, 2024. Clearly that wasn't a great idea. And then you have 2 other streamers by the name of J Company and Bang TV who are currently not wrapped up in any legal trouble. But Bang TV was called as a witness today as he witnessed what happened revolving the alleged baton incident. So we got to court, went into the courtroom, and I was getting ready to make a little sketch, and then we found out that Hank and Johnny, they felt humiliated about the deepfakes, and they requested privacy for
See?
their testimony. They can do
But they showed them first, and my theory, they made them first.
I'm just saying that the deep fake is of Johnny and Hank making out, not Hank and the other guy.
do this because on this specific trial day, they're the victims. Oh, we found out that they're in what protection?
Yeah, they're-
witness protection.
Yeah.
Because Youngman is so scary.
Yeah, basically they want it, for the safety and the security of the witnesses. They're sequestering everybody. So
Interesting.
they're keeping them separate. So it's also a good thing because they're going to keep them separate for us.
Yeah.
We'll just watch the show. So.
Interesting. So we just found out that Johnny's actually getting 60,000 won to testify here. So now the guy actually has an income. 60,000 won is roughly, what is it, like 40 bucks, 50 bucks?
40 bucks.
There.
All right.
Hooray.
More lawyers
You have to
is
take-
better
he
than
probably
Hollywood
would.
can make.
Right away.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
it goes to the Soju Fund.
Straight to
Main
Soju
trial's
Fund.
next week. We'll
Awful.
probably
I
react to
think
that.
the
Many
last
content
trial,
creators and people
hurricane,
on
so
social media
they
has
tried
ruined the reputation for so many that want to travel to other countries. Yep.
I don't.
You'll
I
blow
don't
it my
want
arm.
to be open because it's so embarrassing to me.
No doubt.
So that's the situation.
You a clout chaser for who?
Cloud chaser for who? What do you mean?
Free Israel. Support the IDF.
That's all?
You're an anti-Semite. I'm a Jew, and you are being anti-Semitic.
What?
Is he?
I don't know anymore. Don't try to understand retards. You'll never.
So, wait, baby friend, do
He's
you
not a
accept
Jew.
this man?
Pull your pants down. See if you're circumcised.
No, why would you want to see that?
Good point.
So we then had to leave the room, but that was fine because thankfully we were still able to find out exactly what was said regardless. Here's the TLDR of Johnny's testimony from our legal connections. They said, in quote, "It was so bad it could have been possible to acquit. He lied countless times, repeatedly said that he didn't know / didn't remember to things that he clearly / probably knows. He avoided questions about having distributed on YouTube before Youngman. In quote, saying, police already verified I didn't make it. And then he fell back on the whole I didn't make it excuse over and over again. Because for some reason, he really thinks that production versus distribution is still relevant here. He then says that in November, Youngman made false accusations against Johnny. This is why he apparently filed the charge, which also admits transactional nature here. He also falsely claims that Youngman distributed first. He then lied to his lawyer on March 27th, said that both Youngman and Bongbong distributed first. And then he claimed that Youngman leaked his address, but also claimed he didn't know his own address, so he couldn't even confirm that he knew his own address to know that his address was leaked to begin with. Like, the whole situation was apparently just awful. Then to make things even worse for him, he couldn't remember the important details of the assault. And then he says he doesn't remember who brought the baton. That would be because it's very...
Yeah.
The alcohol's killing his brain, I swear.
No, the lying is catching up to him. That's what I think.
Or does he believe his own lies at this point? Maybe he's that level of crazy.
I don't think people can tolerate a season of this.
Clear that Hank brought it. Then he also said, in quote, the whole thing was so traumatic that I don't remember. And then says it was the scariest day of his life when Youngman found it. He also says that Gino was the only witness of the assault and then tried to submit video evidence on the spot, which is improper procedure because this should have been submitted to a prosecutor a long time ago. All evidence needs to be submitted up front. And then he admitted that he said, come find me on both October 28th and October 30th. Essentially inviting the Korean streamers to go find him. And then finally, he said he filed charges against 1 or 2 other people and mentioned Dagon, but not Bongbong. So that's kind of interesting because why would he say 1 or 2? Because we know he filed them against Dagon, but maybe the ones he tried to file against Bongbong were not successful. Who knows though? We're gonna find out in a few days. And then to make things even worse for Johnny, the judge apparently told him multiple times that his story just didn't add up. And then kept asking questions Johnny didn't want to answer because that would just make things worse for him. So obviously that was a massive train wreck. But here's the notes from Hank's testimony. So Hank says he didn't know who Youngman is, but accused him of creating deepfakes. He then also asked the judge why it took a month for him to sue, and then told the judge that the Korean law isn't fair to Johnny, so he doesn't trust the Korean criminal system, and thus thinks the case is not serious. Because obviously that's extremely relevant information when you're testifying. Like, dude, nobody cares what you think about Korean law. You're here to testify about this case. Get on with it. He also didn't give a straight answer when it came to the production of the deepfakes, and then stated that he had a desire to reach a settlement and essentially wants money, which, you know, makes sense because it's not like Johnny is a cheap person to be harboring. And then he admits that he's only in this case because of Johnny, and then stating,
okay, so this is really confusing me.
The days of Johnny Samal.
Ultimately, all I know is Johnny is someone who's definitely the definition of fuck around and find out.
Yeah, we're getting toward the end of the find out part. I think Nuck could say he's about 980% fucked.
Wait, we're not at the 1,000 mark yet?
That's part he'd be behind jail getting pounded by the Korean Booty Warrior.
So that would be the finality. They're trying to dodge the questions, hoping people will lose interest.
He's the main character of the court case. No, he's the main character, except his wife is Attack on Titan right now.
Wait, why Attack on Titan?
quote, if Ramsey doesn't want to press charges, then I don't want to either. So that's interesting. You know, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, they did their thing. And it actually seems like it kind of worked out for them in the short term, because they also kind of kneecapped themselves by doing this. But then they called Bang TV to the stand, and here he says that Youngman showed the deepfake to explain to viewers the crime committed against him. He then confirms that Johnny attempted to flee to the US after he was attacked. And then on October 28th, he challenged YouTubers to come find him, which obviously mitigates the accusation of stalking. And then he told the court why this group of streamers were actually tracking down Johnny. Because Johnny was harassing elderly, the Statue of Peace, he was trashing Korea, and he was treating Koreans like animals. He then explained that he never saw Youngman hit Johnny with a baton and saw no injury to Johnny. And when it comes to the deepfakes, he thinks that Johnny produced them, but knows for a fact that Johnny distributed them first. And our legal connections believe that the case against Youngman was crumbling, because the deepfake had circumstances similar to Bongbong. Because Johnny seemed very malicious by showing the deepfakes. Both Bongbong and Youngman were like, what is this? This is awful. Why is this a thing? Then for the stalking, Johnny said, come find me. Which
Okay. So the difference here is Bonbon and, names. But they were showing these quote unquote, these deep fakes that it sounded like Johnny was the one that made to point out stuff and like critique and stuff like that, versus Johnny was showing them in a more malicing kind of way.
Yeah.
Oof.
Maybe the last thing Smallish going to go on and blame channels like they do blame VTubers.
Blame
massive
the VTubers.
contradiction when, he's claiming he's being stalked. And then for the assault, Johnny couldn't remember details. He failed to properly submit video evidence, and then they were the ones who brought the baton. So overall, it's an extremely weak case. But then the court called Johnny and Hank back to reach.
So Johnny was never hit by a baton or anything. That was actually something Hank was holding, yeah?
Yeah, and by the way, you're not allowed to have that in Korea.
So they have an illegal weapon that they're just
yeah,
adding more to their charges, I would assume.
You would think, but he's trying to get the deepfake charges dropped because that involves mandatory prison time.
Settlement, because Johnny wants mutual withdrawal of charges, and Hank then backs down from demanding money. And Johnny says that he's willing to put this all behind us. And this is where they ended up settling this case, which ended up being a win for both parties in this particular trial. I even have the translated text of the initial settlement here, where the agreement says, all their names, do not wish...
Johnny would probably blame all VTubers just for reacting to all the stuff that's going on, probably.
We'll go after Nux first. I don't think Kirsch has ever talked about Johnny Smalley.
You sure?
He'll probably go after Nux. He'll probably go after whoever. Probably Smugglana. Who knows? The only chance of Johnny maybe starts lying about Israel and like Hamas.
Yep.
He'll blame Kirsha. I don't think Kirsha's ever talked. Oh, Rev. Rev's another one he'll be pissed. And Leaflet.
To pursue punishment for all criminal cases that have occurred between them. Obviously, this must be formalized to go into effect, but there's nothing really stopping this to do so. And we heard one legal opinion that Hank and Youngman will still have to testify next week, but the odds of that happening are probably going to be pretty low. This is because in the last trial, he ended up pleading guilty when it came to the Lotte World incident.
Yeah, Truckerman and I watch a lot of different YouTubes and stuff.
Yeah. Smugglana was, the VTubers I watched. Smugglana, watching a lot of Cha-Cha lately. Fillion. I think her and Kirsha got a collab next Monday. I'm going to try to watch.
Oh, cool.
And then they ended up canceling the witness they had from Lotte World that was going to testify against him. But as of right now, Johnny is facing 2 deepfake charges, which are heavy-hitting charges, carrying a max of 7 years in prison for each charge. But with one of them being dropped, that's definitely a big win for him. But in doing so, though, he did commit perjury. So that could be a very nasty trade-off for him, which can heavily backfire. Because now he's openly shown that he will happily lie to a judge. For Youngman, though, it absolutely does not make sense to risk fighting this case, because he's already in prison. And all of those charges that Johnny tacked onto him could easily add a decade if he was actually convicted for all of this. And let's be real, risking a decade in prison to stick it to Johnny is absolutely not worth it. So trading 3 charges for 1 is definitely a big win for Youngman. But as of now, we don't know of Bongbong having any deepfake charges pressed against her. So for now, Johnny doesn't have the same leverage against Bongbong as he did on Youngman. So my understanding is he's facing a max sentence of 12 years due to the cap based on these charges. Even after removing 1 deepfake charge, he's still facing a max sentence of 12 years. Although, his minimum sentence has definitely been reduced now. But this just made this court case way more interesting, because now, I guess Johnny finally locked in. Essentially, Johnny is playing a soccer match, and he's losing 7-0, and he finally scored a goal. So
he thinks he's the blue lock.
Yeah. He's that guy that gives like he's celebrating. He's giving the middle finger, celebrating. He's in third place on the podium. He's that meme right now.
He did the lean forward and locked in mode, and now he definitely has a long uphill battle to see if he can get some freedom here. But I am definitely looking forward to seeing Bong Bong testifying in the next couple of days. But since I was kicked out of this courtroom, I wasn't able to make a court sketch. And last time I made one, I was kind of blown out of the water by how many of you guys actually wanted my sketch, as it was bid up for like $500 on eBay. I literally thought it was going to go for like
With
20 bucks
checker
because that's what I
pieces.
said in my last video. But if you want my original court sketch that started all of this from the original trial of Johnny, which was never sold before, I've made prints available here, right here at this link for $20. So 'cause last time I was like, oh, you can get it for $20. Now you can actually get it for 20 bucks. At the top of the link in the description down below. So get them while you can, because I'll be removing them forever soon. And we also dropped a brand new Halloween 2020.
That's cute. You can get a print of Tozie's sketch of the first court case of Johnny.
All right. Well, that'll be anymore. And then next week
Yep.
he's on trial. So we'll have a
So
video.
we'll probably have some more videos of that.
Well, thank you for joining us for this one. Bye. All right, time to start.
Thank you all for joining me. Please like, subscribe, and comment. It would make me very happy. Kiss, kiss,